This right here is my dividend pie in Trading 212. Within these 9 holdings, I've got businesses that cover nearly every sector and geography across the world, from tech to pharma to banking to real estate and more. Not only have I got geographical and sector diversification across these holdings, I've also got a good level of security in terms of my personal risk tolerance, as these are all multi-billion pound cash flowing blue chip behemoths. I've been investing in funds since 2019, but I bought my first ever business in January 2020. That business was Apple. By February, I got my first ever dividend, and that was, wait for it, 20p. That 20p did more to awaken my desire to invest every single penny I owned into dividend businesses than anything. It awoken the dividend investing monster in me that all of a sudden became obsessed with the idea. Christ, lads. What are we at? Creeping up. 27. Best get cracking, eh? From there, I read every single book I could get my hands on. I watched every YouTube channel that was out there, and I immersed myself into the subject. And what I also started to do immediately from that point is to track my progress. And in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly that progress. I'm going to share year on year how many dividends, how much I made from dividends, and also what that might mean for the future of this dividend portfolio. Within this 10k pie, and also the 142 shares I hold of Aviva in Hargreaves Lansdown, and let's not forget a number of dividend ETFs I also hold, I've near on got a dividend portfolio that I'm really pretty happy with. So let's have a look at it, because it ain't getting any cooler up here, lads. This then is exactly that tracker that I started back in 2020. You can see here, there's that 20p that I got. So I did my first investment into January, 20p by February, and in February 2020, I made a total of 20p. So from that point then, I did a load of research and I bought a whole load of other dividend businesses. In reality, I didn't probably do as much research as I needed to. Hence, you will see that this portfolio changes over the years. So for a start, there's too many in here. There's also not an appropriate amount of sector diversification. There's too heavy in certain areas and not heavy enough in others. But we can see the progress over the course of the year. Started with 20p in February, up to 52p. Already we're looking at a 152% increase. Following month, April, £2.60. Now we're looking at a 500% increase. We only kept that up month on month. So it does fluctuate over the course of the year, but by the end of it, it's starting to pick up a little bit. And within the last couple of months, you can see I'm at £12, £14. So within these dividend businesses, right, I've also broken it down by lowest to highest paying over the course of the year. I got £65, £65 and 19 pence from dividends from these businesses. Free money straight into my account. Now, naturally, what I did with it, of course, is I reinvested it directly back into these businesses. I have never taken a penny of dividend cash out of my account. You'll notice down the bottom as well, as part of my car pie, which I've talked about before, I basically just held a few ETFs, and they didn't pay a massive amount at that point because I had barely anything in it. So over the course of that year, 90p. So what does that bring a total to? It brings a total of £66 and 9 pence in 2020. So a really good start. It got me kicked off into the world of dividend investing. I really fell in love with it. You just love to see those dividends coming in, don't you? Moving on to 2020 then, and we can already see some changes in some of the holdings that I've got in here. So I'm not going to go through them individually, but we can see that it's starting to take a little bit more shape. So what we got now is that we're already starting off into double digits, and that's primarily because of Aviva. So I bought Aviva October 2020. Relatively large position for me. Within that was about 500 quid, and that dividend came in January. We're at 14 quid there, and then over the course of this year, we're pretty much averaging there or thereabouts around a tenner a month, and that's what I wanted to do within this year. I wanted to break into double digits in terms of my dividend per month. So at this point, when we're getting a tenner a month, what we're paying for a couple of coffees by now. So nowhere near where we want to be in terms of our financial independence, but this is around the snowballing effect of dividends, as we know. I did sell Lloyd's in 2021, which I've talked about before, regretting having done so. I wish I'd held it. I bought it at a really cheap price, and I naively sold that. So I should have kept hold of that. We can see here also some changes happening then within the ETFs that I hold, and they've started to generate a little bit more cash as I've started to put a bit more money into them. So by the end of 2021, we're at £133 for individual businesses and £22 for ETFs. That gives us a grand total of £156.55 for 2021. So if we look at that versus 2020, £65, £156, we've more than doubled our dividend income. So it's gone up over 100% over the course of a year through reinvesting, through dripping into these businesses. Now, into 2022, I've consolidated the portfolio a little bit and I've brought it down to those businesses that I've just showed you. So you'll recognize all of these from what I showed you in my Trading 212 portfolio and within my Hargreaves Lansdown portfolio being Aviva. So I've consolidated it down to these businesses. The business that I have sold, I've invested directly back into these, and we can see that things are starting to pick up again. January was really quite quiet, really, £4.37. February we're at £3.78. So a really slow start to the first couple of months, and that's because I got rid of some of the businesses that I was holding before, and therefore I'm getting less regular dividend payments. So when they come in bigger, they're coming in much bigger, but are coming in less often. As we can see the whole way along, realty income every month, and it trickles up. 224, 236, 245, always trickling up and up and up. Also, what you're starting to see here is I'm dripping more into my funds. I'm putting more of an allocation into them because I was going a bit too heavy into some growth businesses. We can see that the funds are starting to deliver a bit more cash. Most specifically, you can see it last month where I got only 50 quid last month in dividends from those ETFs. And within the last few months, things have really started to pick up. So I broke 30 quid for the second time. I did that last year, actually, after an Aviva dividend, and I nearly broke 100 quid. I was 35 pence short in June from 100 quid. So once I finally break that, that's the next milestone to break through. But it means that we're really starting to see these drip in now. And we're at July, end of July now, and I've already had 160 plus 73. I haven't done the total there, actually. That's around 230. You can work it out for yourself. So 230 halfway through the year. Last year I was 156. The year before that I was at 66. I've done a couple of graphs to illustrate it. Who doesn't love a bloody graph? And what we got here, you can see in blue 2020 dividends, in orange 2021 dividends, and then the white one is 2022 dividends. So you can see the first year started really low, started to pick up towards the end. The second year was a little bit up and down, and in the third year started to really get some decent dividends. So then, when we track that over the course of the last 2.5 years, you can see the pictures of that paint. Started off with 20p, 50p, then we're starting to get up towards £2, £5, £2, £6, £10. We're breaking into the double digits, it's holding there. Then it started breaking into 30 quid. There's a couple of down ones, but when the months are getting bigger, they're getting bigger and bigger, up towards that one that nearly broke 100 quid. We had 56 quid last month, so looking really good. This is where it gets interesting. Have a look at this. This green line is the exponential trend line. So as we can see, we're starting to swoop up, and then within the last 6 to 12 months, it's really starting to pick up. Now this is, as we've talked about many times before, the beauty of compounding, the beauty of reinvesting those dividends, where the money that you are making is going back into the businesses, and that's making more money again. So this is going in one direction. You can't dispute that. So obviously it's creating a really nice picture of how that dividend portfolio is really starting to gain a bit of traction as we're starting to get a real decent amount of cash coming in that's getting reinvested. That on top of the fact that over the last few months I've upped the amount that I'm dripping in has meant that we're really starting to pick up across here. And this is where it starts to get really exciting. As I increase into those dividend businesses, this is just going to go in one direction. As long as we make sure that we're investing into high quality cash flowing businesses, we're doing it regularly, we're keeping an eye on them, this only looks better and better. This is a sort of trend line that gets me really excited. So I can't wait to see what this is going to look like over the course of the next few years. This is the sort of thing that really inspires you to keep going with this. Despite the market taking a dump over the last 6 months, despite many businesses being 50, 60, 90% down. So I've got 90% down businesses in certain parts of my portfolio. The dividends are going in one direction. Let me know how your dividend portfolio is looking. Is it taking a similar sort of pattern? Is it on its way up? Are you about to break through for that exponential growth that we're all hoping for with dividend investing? Drop me a comment below and let me know. And if you want to see what my entire portfolio looks like, have a look at this video here.